The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary. I am your host, Jared Bachman-Stubbs, and joining me, as always, is the one, the only star of Moon Knight, Travis Grossman.
Yeah, I've got nothing.
Okay, you had a joke in your eyes. I'll just let this run.
Base money, fancy clothes, ops and coppers I dispose to.
Anyway, I forgot to play that last week. It was funny. Yesterday, we finished recording number one contender. I was like, there's not going to be any news. Like, this is just going to be a Moon Knight review. I guess who forgot CinemaCon was going on? Last night, Sony said some words, and we have some updates on Into the Spider-Verse. We're going to be talking the most recent episode of Moon Knight, and a couple other smaller stories. But before we jump into that, we have a word from our lovely sponsors at sundaysbloodymary.com. You guys know the drill by now. sundaysbloodymary.com/shop gets you all of the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement on the planet. There is the award-winning Spicy Caesar Mix, which is my personal favorite. The mild mix, the vegan mix. They have a subscription service where you can get 2 jars a month, which I highly recommend. They got the garnishes, the dilly beans, okra, and asparagus. I'm an asparagus guy. Sounds like the horseradish release is being sent out currently. So I go see if you can still get your hands on any of that. They got rim salt, and along with the rest of their merch, they have a new dad hat. So go check all that out and use code TNAP. Use code TNAP and get 10% off your order. And you help out your favorite nerds while you do it.
Your favorite what?
Your favorite nudes. That's part of our Patreon now.
I didn't think
only
Patreon
Mike.
Allowed that. Oh, yeah.
It's Mike.
Oh, it's only Mike's.
Only Mike's. Bad time for me to get for me to go mush mouth there. But hey, we do this basically live, so there's no fixing that. So Spider-Verse, as you guys saw last week, pretty much right after we stopped recording, a slew of Sony projects got delayed, among them being Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse, and Part 3, which we have a title for, which we'll be getting to in a moment. Sony's animated sequel to the Oscar... This is per Deadline. Sony's animated sequel to the Oscar-winning movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, is moving from October 7th this year to June 2nd, 2023, with the third movie in the franchise now being slated for March 29th, 2024. Movie delays are never
by
fun.
then.
What?
We won't be around as a species by then. What are they thinking?
Probably not. I mean, we'll make it to the next election. I just think all hell will break loose probably not shortly long after that. You know, I think that's when all hell breaks loose.
I don't
Whenever
know,
we
man.
create a conservative chimera of Trump, Tucker, Alex Jones, and I don't know who else is big right now. The crazy chick who runs Libs of TikTok. Once we create some psychotic chimera of all of them, we'll have that'll be our world ender.
I think Elon buying Twitter just ticked us 2 minutes closer to midnight, to be honest. But
I think you're right.
like I think we had a solid 4 or 5 years left,
Yeah.
and that little point in the timeline is the one that's like, no, we got to like the end of 2023.
He's getting his Twitter back, isn't he?
Oh, you know he is.
He
is.
I just talked to Armin from Comic Book Cast because he, like me, has a strange obsession with Alex Jones. And we were doing the over under on whether or not Jones comes back to Twitter as well. I think there's a slightly less of a chance for Alex, but Donnie's coming back. But yeah, delays like this are never good. You know, I mean, they're good for the production. You know, you got to do what you got to do. I got to say, I don't think I have taken a gut punch from a movie getting delayed quite as hard as I took this one. I was quite sad. Now that we're out of Batman season, I have been equally excited for Spider-Verse Part 2. And especially after the description of the first 15 minutes that we got, that we'll be reading here in a minute as well. I'm really disappointed that I gotta wait another whole ass year and then some to see this. Along with the other movies, Lyle Crocodile was also been delayed. Equalizer 3 was delayed. Funny little note, Daisy Ridley of Star Wars fame has recently gotten back on Instagram after being bullied off by a bunch of virgins. And she shared the news of the Equalizer 3 announcement. And a bunch of people thought that meant that Daisy Ridley was going to be in Equalizer 3. And then she had to make a follow-up post on her story saying, "I'm not in it. I just like these movies," which I thought was very wholesome and very makes your heart warm. It was very sweet. So as I've been alluding to, we have a title for the third Spider-Verse movie. Now, the way it's been kind of teased up is that originally it was Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, which I thought meant that it was going to be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 2. So, I'm going to read from this IGN article by Adam Burkhurst. Alongside the revealing that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse will have 240 characters, 6 universes, and the largest crew for an animated film ever, Sony has revealed that the third Spider-Verse film will be called Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. The news shared at CinemaCon, where the first 15 minutes of Spider-Verse were shown. Spider-Man Across and then this is getting back into the discussion about the delay. So I think the title's interesting. 240 characters, 6 universes. I think that's interesting. I think when we get into the description of the first 15 minutes, I think that'll give us some added context. But let me say this, and I'm going to full screen myself real quick, just so I can appeal directly to Sony. If there are 240 characters in this movie, a significant segment of which I am going to assume are spider people, and Superior Spider-Man is somehow not in that lineup, we're going to have a problem. And that's all I can say legally. Leave it there. So,
He won't be
first,
there. In that lineup, though, we will have Madam Web, Secret Agent Aunt May, and Jared Leto. Not Morbius, just Jared Leto.
Just Jared Leto.
And he'll be in live action around the animated, like everything else being animated. And you won't be able to tell.
They will Looney Tunes back in action him, but backwards. So yeah, we got our first 15 minutes from Across the Spider-Verse. So yeah, here we're going to jump into this description on Gizmodo. Across the Spider-Verse opens on Earth 65, Gwen Stacy's world. And though I'll give some brief visual descriptions here, most of the footage was unfinished, so it's impossible to fully tell what it will look like when it's done. Earth 65 seemed to have a painterly quality. Like someone took a brush and dragged it down across the backgrounds. At least that was the vibe I got. In that aesthetic, things open up on Gwen coming home. Her dad, a hulking man, is doing the dishes and excited to tell her that he thinks he's had a break in the Spider-Woman case. He's a police officer, just like Miles' dad, Captain Stacy. And just like Miles' dad, he's searching for his child. Gwen feigns interest at Dad's excitement when he gets a call on the scanner of a possible supervillain event at the Guggenheim. He tells her he thinks this might be the time that they catch her. That what's happening is that Adrian Toomes, aka Vulture, has taken hostages inside the museum. Only the Vulture is a little different. He speaks Italian, which confuses the cops, and they don't know what he wants. Travis and I getting that reputation. Only Vulture is a little different. He speaks Italian. Gwen's dad is about to go into the museum when a bunch of webs grab him and pull him back. It's Gwen. How's the hunt for me going? She jokes before flying into the museum. Gwen and Vulture begin fighting. He's covered in largely ornate armor that makes him look like a gladiator. This article says to think the golden armor from the end of Wonder Woman 84. As they fight, he starts to do the flashy face thing that happened in the last movie, and when Gwen begins to realize that he's from another dimension. Eventually, though, Vulture smashes her to the ground, grabs her, and unleashes 5 massive claws. He's about to kill her when a bunch of webs catch Vulture's hand. It's Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, and the screen tells us he's from Earth 928. He saves Gwen, and then he starts joking with him. She asks him what he is, fully knowing he's a spider person, and jokes that he's like a big black cat, Dark Garfield. She jokes and asks if he wants some lasagna. They're appealing to our people or making fun of us. I can't tell the difference. The joking goes on for too long, though, and Vulture gets back up. Now it's him versus Gwen and Miguel. As they fight, Miguel explains that he's mad at her for what happened on Earth 610 with Kingpin's collider. Gwen says she thought that they saved the multiverse, but Miguel says the opposite happened. They actually opened a hole in the multiverse so big now people are crossing over more regularly, like Vulture here. As this is all happening, Vulture is winning, so Miguel's personal assistant, Layla, jokes that maybe he should call for help. Miguel begrudgingly agrees to Layla, says, I already did. Enter Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman of Earth 404, played by Issa Rae. Also, Miguel O'Hara is played by Travis, Oscar Isaac. He is reprising his role from the end of Into the Spider-Verse.
Getting that money from every big company, baby.
I know. Travis, this is a big year for you in superhero flicks. He hung up the X-Wing pilot flight suit and has picked up the ceremonial armor of Moon Knight and the nanotech of Spider-Man 2099. Anyway, enter Jessica Drew of Earth 404, played by Issa Rae, Spider-Woman. She's riding a motorcycle, and Gwen is very excited to see another Spider-Woman, especially one that's pregnant. 5 months to be exact. Jessica says. Gwen asks if she'll adopt her, and then the fight continues. As it continues, Jessica says to Miguel that maybe they should ask for Gwen's help. He says no, and that she knows why he can't do that. We don't know what he's referring to, The fight flies up and outside of the museum to the air where the police helicopter isn't sure who the bad guy is. If the bad guy is Vulture or Miguel. The battle disables the helicopter and it begins falling. Gwen uses her spider sense to begin to shoot webs to stop its fall. Miguel shoots his own webs and flies through the cockpit to save the pilots. Then Jessica helps to slow the helicopter down, which stops right before it hits the ground. Vulture is captured and the hostage is saved. Cut to a POV of another character creeping up on Gwen. It's Captain Stacy. He tells her that she's under arrest for the murder of Peter Parker. He wants her to put her hands up and lay on the ground, so she's not sure what to do. Quickly, though, things get serious. You don't understand, Gwen keeps saying until she realizes there's only one option. She removes her mask. Captain Stacy is crushed. He can't believe it's his daughter. She explains she wanted to tell him before, but couldn't. How long have you been lying to me? He asked through tears. She asks if he thinks she's a murderer, and after a few beats, he begins to read her Miranda rights. Gwen is shocked, crying, scared. Dad, are you really this afraid of me? She asks. But just she's about to arrest her, Miguel captures him in a little force field. We just can't leave her here, Jessica says. I'm not a babysitter, retorts Miguel. Gwen tells them that she doesn't know what to do, which is when Miguel throws her another one of his multiverse wristband things, and they leave. Cut to Brooklyn, 610. This is Miles Morales' world, the world of the first movie, so it looks just like that. Miles' parents are waiting for him at school for a parent-teacher conference. I can't talk. But of course, Miles is late. He's out being Spider-Man, so we see him flying around the city as the parents and teacher wait. Finally gets back to the room, changes quickly, and says hi to his roommate, who lets Miles know that he still has his mask on. Face, I'm assuming this is Genki. Face, he says. Miles runs through the hallways, crawls on the ceilings, all doing his best to get to the meeting ASAP. While this is happening, Guess Who's Back by Rakim is playing on the soundtrack. Still bangers, nothing but bangers from the Spider-Verse soundtrack. Miles arrives at the conference and the teacher begins going over his grades. A in physics, A in art, A- in English, and a B in Spanish. His mother is pissed at the last one, and Miles explains it's because he missed a few classes, which just makes her madder. 6 classes, in fact, she's the first teacher. This says the teacher who suggests that Miles is a kid who has to begin to tell his own story, a story that will take him from one of the finest science schools in the world, Columbia University. This is news to his mom. In Manhattan, that's too far, says Rio. Miles is mad because Manhattan is still New York. He doesn't think it's too far, and he explains why he wants to go there. He says Columbia has the best quantum research on the planet. They're studying dark matter and might even be able to travel to different dimensions, which his dad, Jefferson Davis, jokes sounds like a fake job. This is a special thing I want to do, says Miles. He explains that there are literally people who can teach him how to do it, but they're not in Brooklyn, just like Miles. Just then, Miles' spider sense tingles. He makes an excuse to leave the meeting. Mom asks if he ordered the cake. He says yes, and he leaves. We don't know what that means. Just then, Dad gets a message on his radio about a potential superhuman event, and he has to go too. That just leaves the teacher and the mom. Your son is lying, the teacher says, and I think you know it. What is he lying about? Who is coming to this dimension? Who else is in the movie? We do not know. That's where the footage ended. Also, it's important to note that beyond our description, the dialogue and exchanges are more dynamic and funny. The stuff with Miles' parents is especially sweet in the moment with Gwen's dad is devastatingly sad. All in all, that June 2023 release date can't come soon enough.
It's a lot
Travis,
for 15 minutes.
That's a lot in 15 minutes, yeah. You dig it? I love how this sounds. I'm super into it. One of the things that jumped out at me immediately is I love the character growth for Miles. If you go back to the first one, he does not want to go to New Horizons. He is, or whatever the name of the school is. He has no desire to go and be at this special hoity-toity school. No desire whatsoever. Flash forward to this movie. Now he wants to go like a step and a half above this school. I think that's a really cool direction to take him. And I think that it's also interesting to put him in a situation where now he is fascinated in how to traverse the multiverse. I think this is really cool. I'm super excited, and this makes me all the more disappointed for that delay, but it will get here when it gets here, and you can expect us to be covering it when it comes out. But we've said too many nice things about Marvel Sony projects, so just to balance it out as Thanos would like, Travis, who in your opinion is the most deserving Spider-Man villain to get a movie?
None.
None.
They should not be making Spider-Man villain movies
No.
because they're not good.
No. I mean, Venom can stand on his own.
Venom is the one exception because he'll make money.
Yes. I think you can also make an argument that, especially the way they're doing Venom, it's anti-hero Venom.
Yeah, which he, has a run of in the comics, and we've seen so many different. Yeah, right. With Agent Venom is a thing. Like, you have routes to take Venom. It's weird seeing that without the backstory of Venom being, the people eating villain and trying to work that into him being an anti-hero. But they do them. They're making money. Can't argue with it. Besides him, no one. Literally no one.
I got really bad news for you, Travis.
I know you do.
I almost didn't put the story in the notes. I wanted to try to surprise you with it and be like, I want you to guess who they're giving a movie to.
I've never heard of this character.
I am aware of El Muerto. So, this is so fucking funny. Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, better known by his stage name, Grammy winner Bad Bunny, has been cast as the newest Marvel hero in Sony Pictures' portfolio of super characters and will lead the standalone comic book film El Muerto. El Muerto is set to hit theaters on January 12th, 2024. Introduced by not that I was not that I was like old enough to watch it, but like back in the day, like the running joke on Entourage is that they were trying to make an Aquaman movie, and like the bit there was like, who the fuck would care about an Aquaman movie? Now, obviously, we had shown, by 2018, lots of people would enjoy an Aquaman movie. And I think Aquaman is no longer the default butt of every joke. But that level of like, who the fuck would care to go see this movie? We've reached it. We have reached critical mass of we are giving everybody who has ever been in a comic book a movie. Introduced by Sony. This is from Variety, Matt Donnelly. Introduced by Sony Motion Pictures Group President Sanford Panich at CinemaCon, the annual gathering of movie theater owners in Las Vegas. Ocasio will be the first ever Latino actor to headline a live-action Marvel movie. To bring El Muerto to life is just incredible. So exciting. The chart topper rapper told the crowd, adding that he grew up a fan of wrestling. Known as Juan Carlos Estrada Sanchez in the comics, El Muerto is a wrestler whose powers are handed down by ancestry in the form of a mask, which, according to Marvel's official site, gives him superhuman strength. In past comic narratives, El Muerto has gotten into the ring with Spider-Man himself. On stage at CinemaCon, Sony Brass suggested that Ocasio will play an anti-hero on the verge of inheriting his father's powers.
Of course he will. Of course he will. He's got to be he's an anti-hero. He is a...
Oh my god! I don't know
what
if
is
the
it going to
can
take.
Feel your anger emanating through the screen the way I can, but I'm enjoying it.
What's it going to take for them to realize this is just a bad idea?
It not making money. Sony's adaptive Marvel rights have yielded 3 Spider-Man iterations over 20 years, with the current Tom Holland-led series most recently enjoying a massive hit in Spider-Man No Way Home. Additional franchises include Tom Hardy and Michelle Williams' Venom, Jared Leto's Morbius, and the Oscar-winning animated film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse sequel, blah, blah, blah. Upcoming Sony Marvel projects include the anticipated Madam Web, a female-led adventure starring Dakota Johnson, which is due in theaters July 7th of next year, and the imminent Kraven the Hunter, led by Aaron Taylor Johnson, which hits theaters on January 13th, 2023.
Oh, great. It gets the shit release slot.
Yeah, same with this one. This also has a January release date.
That is not well foreboding. That is
yeah, I was right. Isn't that a little foreboding? So I have some opinions here. Aside from how funny this is, okay. This is probably going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Having unfortunately seen Morbius, if that's anything to go off of, it's going to be real bad. Now, I don't. And then, and Travis said exactly what I was thinking. Like, stop making movies about villains. Like, we are so at the bottom of the barrel at this point. And this is somehow going to be connected to Morbius. You know it will be, which means it'll somehow be connected to Venom, which is somehow connected to the MCU. Because go fuck yourself. Another thing I just want to say, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way. I don't want this to come across as the assholes and the worst part of fandom communities are not to blame for their shitty behavior, because they're not. They're on the hook for every terrible thing they do and say and person they harass, etc., etc. That said, the fandom menace is going to have a fucking field day with this. Because this is the first time one of these destined to be dog shit Sony movies is led by a person of color, which means now they give a shit, and now they're going to be coming after this one, and it's going to be a whole fucking culture war thing with them. Which again,
but
I'm not saying
the character, obviously given the name, has always been of color, and also it's a man of color. That might be enough.
No, I don't know, man. Here's why I am not as hopeful. Especially recently, it has not required there being some amount of, established
also, though, if it's
lore behind it.
I'm mostly hoping, because I don't want to have to see it or deal with it.
Yeah.
I definitely also think that the thing that will not bring them in is the fact that this movie won't be good.
Yeah.
The thing that brought people, I think Captain Marvel was one of the big ones that really hit everybody off with that kind of stuff, because it was a successful female-led movie.
Yeah.
Which meant it wasn't for straight white men who thought they were on a Joker arc, but really just needed to get some sleep and have a healthy meal. And so I think Sony releasing a bad movie led by a Latino actor isn't gonna hopefully bring in, because hell, most people might not even realize this is connected in any way to Spider-Man.
Oh, they will. I know. There's no way that
they're gonna have to load the shit out of all the marketing to be like,
yeah,
he's a Spider-Man person, villain, anti-hero thing. Here's Jared Leto in his cult with unused footage from Morbius that will not be in the movie, but you need to know it's there.
Yeah. I'm trying to, just out of curiosity, get to keep getting ads that are in the way. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 6. No, that's the wrong section. Yes, okay, yeah, wait. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 6, volume 16. Which I believe puts him in 2006, because the art that keeps getting used in all of these headline thumbnails is him wrestling Spider-Man, but Peter is in his Iron Spider suit, like circa Civil War. So, and I was very curious. I'm assuming this might be the first appearance. So, this is also a relatively recent character. So, there you go. Yeah, like I said, I applaud the representation. I think it sucks that it is in a movie that is destined to tank, at least critically. And again, we always we enjoy being proven wrong in moments like that. I will, when I sit down to watch that movie, I will give it as fair a shake as I humanly can.
Unfortunately, it was proven yesterday by an act of God that I'm never wrong. This movie's not going to be good.
What act of God proved that you're never wrong?
You saw my tweet about yesterday being Malicious Compliance Day.
Yeah.
Because we were going to have a corporate walkthrough. Yeah, well, at our meeting for the morning, I say the morning, I go in at 1 p.m. They're talking about them coming in, and we're all like, well, what time are they going to come in? Around 6 p.m. And I said, not a chance in hell. And they went, what do you mean? I said, the corporate people don't work past 5. They're not coming in today. And my manager, my supervisor were both like, nah, man, they're coming. They're coming in today for sure. 3 o'clock rolls around. My supervisor gets a call. Guess who canceled? Guess who didn't come in? Guess who's always right?
Magicked it. You
Look,
chaos
man,
magicked it.
If there's one thing I know, it's that the people at the home office do not like to work past like 3 p.m. They'll stretch it to 5 if they have to. But when you tell us like, yeah, we're gonna make a quote unquote surprise visit in the evening, they're not coming. They don't care.
It's bullshit.
Just like when you tell me this movie has any chance of being good, I'm sorry, but no, it doesn't.
I'm not anticipating it, but I'll give it a fair shot when it comes time. A couple.
I didn't spend money on Morbius. I'm not spending money on that.
I know. I'll do the heavy lifting on this one.
Yeah, I didn't tell you when like the day after Morbius came out, Cosmonaut put out his video, and Lexi was like, "Oh, we have to go see Morbius so we can watch Cosmonaut's video." And I said, "Alexis, the title of the video is Don't Go See Morbius." I think I'm going to listen to this one.
I'm going to take Marcus's advice.
And I did. And I watched his video.
Right,
and it was worth it.
I came out of Morbius having arrived at the conclusion that I need to figure out how to get some type of press credential. I need to at least try so I can stop paying for shit like that. That is money I want back, and I never will see it again. Jumping ahead a little bit here, at CinemaCon, just a quick little note. We also did get word that we will be getting more movement, both in the realm of Venom and with more Ghostbusters movies, which are good. Another quickie little story that I only included here, and the link is broken.
That's why I was playing with it as we got started, because I was trying to see if I can make it work, and I cannot.
We got set photos from Kraven the Hunter. That's really it. And Aaron Taylor Johnson had really funny foot shoes that, again, makes sense so that you don't make him actually run barefoot on the street. But they looked funny, and that was mainly the reason why I wanted it, but I don't care enough about that story to go back and find it. This is always pleasant. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is banned in multiple countries, mostly because of its queer representation. This is per Richard Newbins from the Direct. Marvel Studios now approaching the finish line for the release of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, a feat that is certainly cause for celebration thanks to this sequel's scale and expectations. However, even with a story that breaks the multiverse open and introduces potentially dozens of new characters, the lead to its debut hasn't come without its hiccups. Particularly in Phase 4 of the MCU, the franchise has made a more concerted effort than ever toward bringing much-needed representation to the big and small screen. This started with Phastos being portrayed as gay in last year's Eternals, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness will continue progress in that realm. Saudi Arabia has banned the release of Multiverse of Madness due to America Chavez being canonically gay, or LGBTQIA in the comics as well, and in the movie. Now it appears that it's going to be facing that in Egypt as well. Also, remember that it will not be getting a release in Russia due to the invasion of Ukraine. So, yeah, fun stuff there. You know what? I'm gonna skip the Lightyear story. We can just jump into Moon Knight talk. They basically explained how Lightyear works, because a lot of people were like, you know, the director basically said that Lightyear is the Star Wars of the Toy Story universe, and what we're seeing as Lightyear is the movie that inspired the toy in that universe.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. I was gonna read the whole quote. It's really funny. He's very, just throwing shit out there. Anyway, episode 4 of Moon Knight. Travis, I said last week I was enjoying the show, and I was. I had some criticism that I kind of kept to myself. We were talking about how it was a little slow. Maybe it might be better as a binge. Episode 4 was the first one that top to bottom knocked my socks off.
There it is.
What?
Every Marvel show, every single one. We get this far, and you're like, man, I don't know. It might be better as a binge. Might need to, hasn't gripped me in yet. And then around 3 or 4, you go, yeah, I'm in, baby.
I know. That was only with Falcon and the Winter Soldier was the only other one. I was like, yeah, okay, this is fine.
You did it with Loki too. You definitely.
I was all in on Loki from day one. I was super into Loki. Loki was my shit from day one. I was super enthralled with the mystery with WandaVision. Hawkeye, I was kind of sleepwalking through for the most part. Once Echo showed up is when I got super into that. I will admit that. But for the I mean, you're right. I have for every episode said this is the one. Like this is where it went from good to great. I will give that. That there have been the good to great transition episodes. But this fucking one, it was really cool. And I think it's cool because I think there's an element of toying with the audience that I really like. But I give you the floor before I go on my tangent there. Thoughts on episode 4?
I thought it was really good. I've been really enjoying the show. That did not change. I definitely forgot an episode had come out and that I had seen it and that we had not talked about it until yesterday when you were like, yeah, it'll mostly be Moon Knight talk. And in my head, my reaction was, Jarod, it's not Wednesday yet. Moon Knight isn't out yet. I didn't say that out loud.
No.
And then I thought about it for a second. And I thought, wait a minute. We didn't talk about last week's episode. Shit, what was in last week's episode?
You know what I can tell you wasn't last week's episode?
My brain breaking.
Yeah, it's the hippo song. It's about the hippopotamus, the most dangerous land animal in the world. Hippopotamus, hippopotamus, hippopotamus. Ow!
Enough of that. Okay, real quick.
But
I'm gonna get my Henry Zabrowski on. That was a fucking op.
What?
Hippopotamus song is an op.
He
that
activated somebody in that crowd.
No. I think he went in there to tease Moon Knight. I think he, like, obviously he knew it was coming. I think he did that knowing that months later people would be like, hey, didn't Oscar Isaac sing a really random song about a fucking hippo on Fallon? I am convinced all of that was intentional. I do not think there was any coincidence there at all. The hippopotamus song is an op. Take that to the bank. But yeah, I also got confused in the same way you did and thought that we were going to be late, because I also threw off my own schedule as well. So we both were kind of on the same wavelength in different directions there. No, what I really like here, and this may not have been intentional insofar as, you know, different things being in production at the same time or desperate times or whatever, disparate rather. I think on some level, the same way that so much of WandaVision was what's real, what's fake, what's bleeding in from the real world, what's bleeding out into the real world. Like that was so much of a driving force of that show. That here, I love the mental institution purgatory. Because I don't think he's institutionalized. I don't think at all. I think it is a brilliant bait and switch. I think everything is real. Everything is actually happening. And I think Arthur Harrow and Amit and whomever the driving force villain is trying to take advantage of Mark and Steven and Jake. Again, I'm just going to say Moon Knight as a catch-all for all of the people who live in that noggin. But I think he's trying to take advantage of Moon Knight, in particular Mark, as we see throughout the institution, to make him doubt himself. And I think that it is supernatural in nature what we are seeing. I think it's genius. I think that the fact that the Stephen Grant, like, discount Indiana Jones guy we see, he even almost kind of looks like Arthur Harrow, which I also think he kind of looks like Ethan Hawke, which I think is also intentional. I just think it's a genius tactic to try to throw the audience off. Because once you introduce that possibility that none of it is real, everything comes into question. And I think it's smart. And I think it'll be fun to try to figure out what is real and what is fiction. But I am mostly excited for everything to be real. I hope it's all real. I also think that the very specific moment where we see a sarcophagus with someone like banging on it to get out, we've been speculating Jake Lockley. You know, that's been one of the prevailing theories, is that there will be a third personality that we have not seen yet, which is in the comics another Moon Knight personality, one that is slightly more, you know, that is has a more of a slight proclivity for violence, even though Moon Knight inherently is quite brutal. Which would make sense because, go to the old episode 3 where Mark and Steven are arguing, like, hey, why'd you kill that guy? I didn't do it. Well, clearly I didn't do it. And I think it would make sense for it to be Jake. You can also argue that it might be Khonshu because we still had Khonshu in play when that was happening. Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny you hit me with the, there it is. But like this had what I was looking for in this show. Like I was really hoping for like equal parts. And granted, I've gotten my fix of superhero Moon Knight in the first couple episodes, that I was really waiting for like weird occult shit Moon Knight. And like here we're fighting like zombie bodyguard or mummy bodyguards, and we're like excavating and exploring the caves and shit. And like I don't know, like there was a horror element at play here that was stronger than the other episodes. And this is more the tone I was hoping for. And it helps that it is in Egypt this episode, that it is largely, kind of back at its roots. But yeah, I was super, super into this episode. And again, I've enjoyed all of them. But this was the first one that I almost wanted to rewind and just watch again immediately. And would have provided the time in the morning and not having to, go to work and shit. I'm gonna Google the name again so I get it right, because God knows names like this make me sound like an idiot. Taweret, the hippo god at the end of the episode. It was just such a cute, fun reveal. And I love that. And again, this is stuff that's been discussed to death by now. But again, we would be remiss not to bring it up. I love the subtle ways that so much of this show gets teased at us in the very beginning. I believe Steven is talking to his boss about Taweret at work, and he's playing around with plushies of her in the first episode, which I think is really cute and fun. And then we bring all the way back here to her being the only god on Moon Knight's side at this point. Which again, there's been talk that this might, like WandaVision, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, be a one and done. And if that is the case, I'm very curious if Khonshu even comes back. I hope he does. I hope that Moon Knight is still in the MCU by the end of this show. But yeah, this is just a really fun episode. Like this was everything I was looking forward to in this show. And I know there's a scene we haven't seen yet from the trailers that looks like it's a flashback to Mark becoming Moon Knight, like the night that Khonshu saved his life, which we got fun setup for here. And I wouldn't be surprised if, to get out of the mental hospital purgatory that Harrow put Moon Knight in, that it's going to be not unlike the penultimate episode of WandaVision, where we kind of like run a memory gauntlet and then it spits us back out the other side. And who knows, maybe the memory gauntlet is how we free Khonshu. So we're going into whatever the final conflict is with Arthur Harrow and Amit with the team being Moon Knight, Layla, Khonshu, Taret is like that's your team going in. His partner in the comics, Frenchie. We saw Frenchie's last name in the flip phone when he's running through it, and that's the guy who gunned him down in the desert. So I think that's the direction. I think we're going to arrive at some type of like extended flashback that gets us out of the mental hospital. And since these episodes are longer than what we got from WandaVision, I think we'll have more time to set the stage for the finale, which was, on the whole, the biggest criticism of WandaVision's finale is that shit just kind of starts happening due to the episode length. So, Travis, I've been talking for a minute. Do you have any thoughts? Because I've been hogging the mic, hogging the air, as it were.
Not really. I enjoy being on the ride, right? All this joke about Marvel stuff being an amusement park ride. Well, I don't think is entirely accurate. There is a semblance of, they say that because there's a nugget of truth in there, and I like being on the ride, and I like experiencing it as it comes, and I don't know. I've gotten really good recently at just like, yeah, I like this and enjoying it. And when I don't like it, to just kind of set it down gently and go, I don't think that was for me. But this is for me. I quite like this.
Well, you made it. I'd hope it's for you.
Yeah.
Whenever we do the season review, the thumbnail is just going to be me. You're going to be on one of the Moon Knight faces, and I'm just going to see how long it takes people to notice which one. But yeah, I'm very excited for episode 5. Obviously, that will be out tomorrow, tonight, if you're willing to stay up late enough for it. So yeah, I think that's all we have for you guys this week. Travis, you're making a public appearance. Tell the lovely people.
Yes. Come play Magic the Gathering with me if you're in Western PA area / Ohio / Virginia / wherever you're willing to make the trek from. I will be playing Magic at SCG Pittsburgh this weekend, where I'll hopefully win all the money I spent booking the Airbnb and my entry fees. I probably won't win that much money back, but that's okay.
Are both of you guys going? Or are you going solo? Are you riding?
What do you mean both?
You and Lexi, are you guys both?
No, just me.
Oh wow, you're going in all by your lonesome.
Yeah, I have
You're braver than I am.
Yeah. I have friends from work and my friend Dan.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
When I started looking into going, originally I wasn't going to stay in the city. I was going to drive in and out every day. And then enough people were interested in coming for the weekend that I was like, hey, what if we got a place to stay at instead of driving in and out every day for my mental health?
That makes sense. Yeah,
and then,
I know I hate going to the, I mean, obviously I've never been to like a card thing, but going to cons solo is never as much fun as having a adventure partner.
I would have got when I started talking to Lexi about it, I was like, okay, here's the deal. I'm going to be in a convention center playing card games for roughly 6 to 8 hours. I would love for you to come. You're going to be bored as shit.
That's fair. Nope. That's fair. Oh, that's funny as hell. Very, very cards at the table. You don't have to come. That's funny. But no, I was curious. It sounds like fun. I wish you luck. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Go whoop some ass. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited for you. I look forward to hearing about it on the next show.
I hope to have a good time. There's going to be some Magic content creators there, artists that make art for the game, right? Like all the stuff you see on the cards, right?
Oh, that's cool as shit.
So you can get cards signed and get prints of their art and stuff. It's really sick. Yeah, I haven't gone to one of these since 2018, 2019. When was War of the Spark? 2019. It was 2019. I think. Now I'm questioning. No, it was 2018. I'm a fact check myself.
Well, still, I'm excited for you. I'm super excited to hear the mission report. Stuff like Magic just goes right over my head, and I'm not able to. Sweet.
Yeah, very excited.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, go meet Travis. Go shake his hand and whatnot.
After I beat you in a card game.
Yeah, go get fucking mollywopped by Travis, and then sing his praises of both him and the show.
Oh yeah, you can find me at Travis Political on Twitter and Instagram.
I wasn't sure if you were gonna do the socials next, or I was waiting for you to throw to me, and I was gonna step on you.
Jarod, where?
You guys can find me not doing anything as cool as that, but you can find me on this channel streaming all through Star Wars Celebration at the end of May. It is upon us. We are almost there. Basically, how it's going to work is I'm going to be live as long as Star Wars is live, showing a celebration. And then at the end of the night, we're going to do one big recap stream to discuss everything that we saw. And then, rinse and repeat that whole weekend. And then the next week, after that, again, this is way looking forward. This will be going into June. I might take a week off other than talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because I will be at a meetup for Roosevelt's, the button-down community that basically owns my wallet. They're doing a 10-year anniversary of their company. So I'll be down that way in Jersey for that event. But yeah, you guys can find me, Twitter, Instagram, DarkJedi2552, and you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page.
Give me $1.
Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Nick Johnson. And I'm just making sure I have the full thing, because Paco threw me a bone. The way he phrased the last name, I didn't feel comfortable reading all of it because I was afraid we might YouTube might come at us for saying it in every show. But this one, I'm going to get it down to the letter. Use code TNAP at checkout for $5 off on SaveInfowars.com. That's $5 off on SaveInfowars.com if you use code TNAP. SunnyBloodyMary.com/shop. Actually, use code TNAP. And be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you all so very much for watching and listening. And class dismissed.
Yeah, it's the hippo song. It's about the hippopotamus, the most dangerous land animal in the world. Hippopotamus, hippopotamus, hippopotamus. Ow! I'm a hippopotamus. I like swimming, but I'm dangerous. If you get too close to me, I might just bite your feet. Hippopotamus, hippopotamus, hippopotamus. I'm a hippopotamus. I'm a hippopotamus. I'm fat and dangerous. If you understand. I might just bite your hand.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar!